My name is Shayla, and I am your host. Today, we will not be talking about neurodivergence or anything related to that. If you want, you can go to the most recent videos and you will find that content over there. Um, Today, we are actually going to talk a little bit about racial relations, history in this country, and the current state of affairs. So, I'm just going to give everybody some time to join the live. I want to thank our top fans and our dedicated subscribers. We just added new subscribers this week. Um, and I'm also going to warn that I am getting less and less engagement on the channel. So this might be a goodbye, or might be very soon a goodbye for the Neurodive Corner. We've been shadow banned, we've been a little bit of everything. It's difficult. I have a very highly demanding job and a highly demanding family. Very. Um, and I find myself, especially on the shorts and stuff, I find myself more and more discouraged and disappointed and kind of like sad and angry and a little bit of everything. And I'm rambling because I'm giving people some time to jump in if they want. I know this topic is not for everybody, and that's okay. Um, but yeah, it's just one of them days. It's been one of them months, one of them years. Nah, in all seriousness, I've been struggling a lot lately with vicarious trauma and the trauma porn that you see in the media, and um, I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired, and this might be the goodbye for the Narrow Dive Corner. I don't know if forever, I don't know if for a little bit, but it definitely might be because it's becoming more and more difficult to deal when people, I'm just trying here to educate. And usually I'm talking about neurodivergence, mental health, people that take, I'm an EMT myself. I'm an autism specialist, and I am also a social worker. So, um, suffice to say, I'm getting burnt out because I just keep seeing society backslide and moving away from empathy to just full blown hate. And it's it's not cool. Not something that is super cool. Um, Let me give it to the chat. Say hello. I have Lucien Kumpf 4257. Thank you. Hello. I'm good. I'm good. I'm just a little burnt out, a little overwhelmed, a little angry, a little bit of everything, right? Um, but I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay comparing to everything that is going on with the world. I'm okay. So yeah. Um, please don't be scared. You're sleep. You're sleepy. I'm getting sleepy. I'm getting there. I'm 45 years old. Listen, I get sleepy at 9 a.m. um, actually I'm lying, because I'm a chronic insomniac. So yeah, I barely sleep. But Neutral, thank you for joining the live. And if I'm making you sleepy, I'm very sorry. You don't have to stick around. Um, but thank you for joining. Make sure you guys do all the cool stuff too. Like, whatever. I always forget if it's up, down, on the sides, like, but all the cool stuff, hit the like, subscribe, comment, keep commenting, and hit the bell so you know when we are dropping new videos. So let's get into this real quick. So the reason I wanted to talk about this is because my dumbass decided to watch the Oscars. And I should have known better. I stopped watching those shows a long time ago because they are honestly a waste of 3 hours for the most part. And it's just kind of ridiculous anymore. But as you guys know, the movie Sinners got nominated for 16 Oscars. So the most nominated movie. And so I said, fuck it. Gotta jump. Gotta watch the Oscars because I'll be honest, I love Ryan Coogler. I think he's a trailblazer. I think he is one of those voices that we need in this precise moment. And honestly, his movies are amazing. And Sinners did not disappoint. If you are not familiar with racial relations, the movie itself has it's very entertaining. I mean, shit, it's vampires, right? But it does have a deep, deep cultural, historical undercurrent to it. Oh, you're from Argentina. Hola, un placer. Gracias por unirte al live. That is so cool. Don't say your English is not bad. Your English is okay. My English is bad, and that's okay. Trust me, all these white people will survive. They'll be fine. they they just have white narcissism, and they hear an accent and they freak out and they go crazy and they are trying to impale and crucify poor Bad Bunny, and that's just how it is. In the United States these days. But thank you so much por unirte al live y acuérdate de darle a la campanita, suscribirse y dejar más comentarios. English, Spanish, whatever. Empathy is a universal language. So thank you for joining. Thank you everybody that is joining the live. Um, so again, I wanted to talk a little bit about the movie Sinners and then go from there. Um, so the movie Sinners with Ryan Coogler kind of like takes place in Jim Crow, or I'm not quite sure. I don't think it's Jim Crow. Actually, I think it's like the like earlier than that. I'm not quite sure that I paid enough attention to the time period because the rest of like the movie itself was so good. I wasn't worried about that, right? But we have a movie here that has been attacked from day one. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason why a movie that gets nominated for 16 Oscars, there's a reason why a movie that is the most nominated to the Oscar movie in the history of the Oscars only got 4 out of 16. And it has to do with race. And I know that's a dirty word, especially for all of you white narcissists. You're clutching your pearls, you're leaving the live. Give me a second. Stick around. This helps everybody. So, when I saw that the Academy did Sinners that way, because I mean, out of 16, they should have won at least 5, right? 5 or 6. But no, and it's not only the fact that that is the most nominated movie, but didn't like get all of the Oscars is the fact that the Academy thought it was an honor and a good idea to have the cast of the movie recreate their dance when they open the juke place in the movie. So those of you that are familiar with the black community know the phrase shucking and jiving, right? That's pretty much what the Academy did last night, you know, to the cast and crew of the movie Sinners. And it is very sad to continue to see this happen. Now, you might want to be asking, how does that tie to the current state of affairs, right? And I'll tell you why. The movie itself is a metaphor and also a historical reference to a time when being black didn't necessarily have to do with your levels of melanin in your skin only. It had to do with immigrants altogether. And as we know, um, there were many cultures that initially were not considered white in this country. That's why we know that the whole being white and white supremacy and the whole white culture is all a social construct. Race is a social construct. And we know this because even in history books, dating back to ancient Greece, nobody was focused on anybody's skin color. It wasn't a thing. Yes, in the UK, when the British Empire rose and when you had the Tudors around, they favored very pale skin. That was considered beautiful then, but so was fat at one point or another. Ask Botticelli, right? And the reason that racial relations tie directly to what's happening today is very easy. Whenever you deny any group of people equality and rights, you're automatically opening the door for that same MO or modus operandi to repeat to other groups. In the United States, we have gotten incredibly comfortable with the fact that mostly the black community bears the brunt of racism and for centuries have been oppressed, abused, discriminated, unalived, you name it. There is so much trauma that comes with that it becomes generational. But there is also so much wisdom that we have not been paying attention to that comes with that. The black community was trying to tell us early on that if we all organize together and show solidarity, everybody would be free and everybody would be equal. And we to this day refuse to listen to that advice. They bear the brunt because they have paid with their lives to acquire that knowledge and pass it along. And for us to pretty much spit back on their faces and only be able to quote one thing from Dr. King. Everybody loves to quote the don't measure them by the color of the skin, measure them by the content of their character type of thing, right? Um, but people, you know, that's a cope. I'm sorry. That's a cope, number one. And number two, why don't we talk more about Dr. King's later speeches and how he started realizing that he was being tokenized and his community was not going to be delivered? This country has never been ready to live up to its promises. This country has been running for a long, long time from its promises that everybody deserves to be equal and everybody's looking for the same things: happiness, justice, equality, acceptance, tolerance. We all have the same dreams. We are all worthy just for the fact of being here. But we refuse to listen to the black community and we continue to discriminate them. We continue through Jim Crow. We continue through the civil rights era. We continue through the Black Lives Matter, the Trayvon Martins, and all of that. And now that we find ourselves being the other, now we want them to come to the rescue. Not cool. They tried to teach us how to organize, how to build class solidarity. The black community has always been very clear that capitalism, especially unregulated, unbridled capitalism, is not sustainable and it always devolves into fascism. So they try to warn us for over 400 years. They try to warn us this year. They still trying to warn us. Check authors like Resmaa Menakem, Robin DiAngelo, Bell Hooks, Ta-Nehisi Coates, and they would tell you that having ignored and not making the black community equal directly led to women being a minority and being otherized, LGBTQ plus I community being otherized and oppressed, the Latino community being otherized and oppressed. Because again, if you cannot recognize your black brothers and sisters as your equals, you're going to do it to the next group and the next group and the next. And just because we have a couple of token people in this fascist administration, by no means it means that we are in a post-racial, we wasn't even in a post-racial America when Barack Obama won. Let's be honest. He just had really good organizational skills, an amazing wife that I believe is more intelligent than he is, to be honest. And hey, you don't like that? I said what I said. But I don't think he would have gotten as far if he didn't have Michelle's grounding force in that very realistic, pragmatic personality that she has, because he was a little bit more of a dreamer. But we wasn't even in a post-racial America at that point. Um, Taco, Taco Kenkel's McTackle Tits is a direct issue or a direct cause of having our first black president. You know, again, white narcissism kicked in and people freaked out and they said, "Ooh, no, 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 can't have them in those positions. Shut it down." And that's how we land on the malignant narcissist that is running the country today in a fascist way and has trusted us into pretty much a soft World War III, if you could say such a thing. I wouldn't say soft. But he threw us into another forever war in the Middle East because this country is so racist that they didn't learn the lesson with the 20 plus years that we spent in Afghanistan and Iraq. Well, y'all didn't learn from the first time we went to Iraq in 1993. So everybody tells me, as a Latino, how do you feel today? And all I can say is we should have listened to the Black community. We should have built solidarity with them. We should have organized with them. And we cannot keep ignoring the blueprint that they left us. But we cannot keep asking them to fight our fights either. They can't be the ones putting their bodies on the line. It is our turn to put our bodies on the line if we want all of these crazy conflicts to end. Umar, can I say my name? My name is Shayla. Yeah, my name is Shayla. Thank you for joining. But yeah, if we want peace, we need to reckon as a country with our racism towards any and all minorities. We need to work on our bigotry because if not, we will literally set the world on fire. We're halfway there. Anyway, if you stuck this long, thank you for joining my community. Thank you for joining the live. Please do all the cool things. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys soon. Hopefully. Lucien, Neutral, Umar, thank you. Bye-bye.